Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, what are we gonna be doing? I have a billion books. I don't actually know what the number is. We're gonna find out by the end of this video. But a bunch of books that I bought or hauled in 2025 that I need to update you about. So we're gonna do just a massive 2025 book haul with a few 2026 books that I got recently. And I'm gonna share all of those with you. We're gonna talk through all of them, sort of, not literally every single one, but I am going to show you all the books that I've got so that we can update our count of how many books are on my physical TBR that I need to get through this year. My goal is to get through all of the books that I own by the end of the year. That is an ambitious goal. I don't think I'll be able to do it, but that is something I do want to do. I want to cut back on how many books I have that I am just holding on to read, and keep like maybe like a row of books instead of this entire colossal space. This area is just the books that I have to read. It does not include the books that I've already read that I am keeping. So I want to go through this, see what books we have from 2025 that I've bought and need to haul to you, but then also go through all of the books that I have that are on my TBR cabinet so that we can discuss how many books I have that I need to try to get to this year and if it's a realistic goal or not. So I don't need to ramble too much longer. We've already done that for a long time. Let's jump into the books that I have already read that I did buy in 2025. So two books that I've already read that I bought in 2025 were The Wedding People. Such a good book. I got this from Book of the Month, as you can tell. I also actually bought this book from Target and didn't realize I had it already. I believe I got this when I canceled my subscription for Book of the Month. I did end up canceling it. Long story short, they don't have enough horror reads for me. I want to read horror books. That's what I want. So I canceled my Book of the Month, and I have since got a subscription for Aardvark, which I do like, but I've only gotten, I think, one book from Aardvark so far, so well, we'll see. But Wedding People is a book that I purchased last year and ended up reading last year. I believe I gave this 5 stars, if not 4.5. Another book from last year is Lights Out. This is a fun time, okay? Books and Lala read this book, and I was like, if she's gonna read it, I'm gonna read it. I read it, and I loved this. I was kicking my little feet. This is crazy, okay? Straight up, just crazy. There is no real world that this applies to, but it was so much fun, okay? Bring back fun, bring back joy, bring back silly, goofy times. Bring back not thinking that every single book has to be realistic, okay? Not every single book has to be, like, set in the most realistic times, blah, blah, blah. Y'all read fantasy books, okay? Let the readers who want to read smutty romance books read their smutty romance books. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Another 2025 read, which I've already talked about, was The Exorcist from last year. I also got Come Closer by Sarah Gran last year. I did read this as well. Didn't love it as much. This is a slow burn. It is a novella. I did like it, but it's not like something I was super obsessed with. Another purchase last year was Rest Stop, which was my book of the year for 2025. Definitely read this. Novella, super good, enjoyed. And I also got When the Wolf Comes Home last year. Also already read this. Beautiful book, definitely recommend. I also purchased The Handmaid's Tale last year. Read this last year, loved this. Do want to read the second book, but I haven't got my hands on it yet, so I'll let you know when I do that. I also read the Hunger Games series last year and purchased it last year. I'm probably going to be giving this away to someone who would actually enjoy reading this series because I didn't. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me, okay? And the final book that I purchased last year is The Assassin's Blade. I also read this last year and it was great. I very much enjoyed it. I had a wonderful, goofy time with it, and I think this was my favorite book so far. No, Heir of Fire is my favorite book in the series so far. So far. That concludes all the books that I got last year that I have already read. Now we're gonna move on to stacks and stacks and stacks of books that I bought last year that I have not read, but I want to read. Starting off, I think I'm gonna start off with the romance section. All right, for romance, we are starting off strong in the romance department with the Rebel Blue series. I got both of these last year. I actually bought one and not realizing that the other was the first book, and I can't tell you right now which one of these is first. So let's start doing a thing in 2026 where if we're gonna make a series, we put a number. Okay, that would be really helpful. I don't like not knowing what number book came first. I understand that this series is one that you can read books out of order, and I think that's cool and wonderful and great and all that, but I do like to read books in order. Okay, that's who I am. But regardless, I got Swift and Saddled and Done and Dusted. A lot of people were talking about these last year. I think I'm gonna probably put this in my anticipated reads vlog for romance. So if you wanna see me read those, stay tuned. But these are two in that series that I got. Another book on the same vein was also Wild Love. I also got this because everyone was talking about this series and how awesome it is and how great it is, and everyone was just they're so obsessed with cowboy romance, right? I want to be obsessed with it too. Okay, that's really all it is. I want to be involved. I want to know what the fun is about. I think I'm gonna call this reading series that I want to do my FOMO series, because I just want to be involved. I want to be able to say I read it and if I liked it or not. So I've also got Wild Love to read. Another romance in a series that I got is Daisy Hates. Y'all know that I read and loved Magnolia Parks. So I got book number 2, which is Daisy Hates. I am excited to read this. I don't know if I'm gonna love it as much as I love Magnolia Parks, but we have book 2. Another book in a series that I bought is Scythe and Sparrow. This is a part of Butcher and Blackbird series. I've read book 1 and 2, so had to finish out the trilogy. Got this one. I'm excited to see if this is as good as the other 2 were. I have heard that people didn't love this one as much, so I haven't read it yet because of that, but I do want to get to this one this year as well. Another follow-up in a series is Caught Up. This is the sequel to Lights Out, and I'm very excited to read Caught Up. I loved Lights Out, loved it, so I'm ready to read Caught Up. I really want to get to this one this year. So again, maybe I just make a romance vlog where I read romance books. I don't know. And finally, we have 2 of the same books, quote unquote, that are 1 billion pages long. Okay, these are chunkers. But I got Manacled / Alchemized. I know there's a lot of discourse around these 2 books and this series. I will go ahead and preface now, I'm gonna read them regardless. I do understand that they are Harry Potter fan fiction, and we're over Harry Potter, we're over the troll that made it, and I agree with you. I'm over her. I hate her, and that's fine, okay? I don't like her. However, this was not written by her. This was written by a fan of Harry Potter. And with that being said, I wanna read it. Okay, I want to read it. I really don't care. None of the profits for this series go to that troll of a woman. They only go to the author who wrote this series. Manacled is the original fan fiction. My sister actually was able to get a bound copy of this for me for Christmas, so I'm very excited to read the original, but she also rewrote it and republished it without it being a Harry Potter fan fiction anymore as Alchemized. I have heard that these 2 books are very much the same. She literally just changed names and a little bit about the scenery, but I still want to read both of these. It's just something that I want to do, something that I have started Manacled. I had it on my Kindle. I just haven't actually gotten all the way through it, but I do want to read these. If you don't like it and you don't support it, trust me, I understand, and that is totally up to you. I am going to support the person who worked hard to write this story. I think it's important, and I think it's important to show those creators love, right? We want to support small artists and small communities, and I think that that's a great way to do that. And also, I'm still able to enjoy Harry Potter without contributing to the disgusting person that is the original author of Harry Potter. I won't say her name. Don't worry. She doesn't deserve it. Anyway, those are the romance books that I have on my TBR shelf that I have yet to read. The next set of books I'm going to show you are a mixture of like nonfiction / like kind of like social commentary books that are fiction. So I'm just gonna kind of mash those 2 segments together. So the first book, nonfiction, that I got is Sociopath. I'm actually really interested in reading this book. It's a memoir by Patrice Gagan? I am so sorry. I'm so sorry to this woman. I am a psychology student, or a graduate. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology, so obviously very interested in things like this, and I saw this book came out last year. It was something that I was very excited to read. I believe this was even on like a Goodreads list somewhere. I don't know, but I want to read this. It is about a doctor who is a sociopath, and kind of like her workings through that and like how that impacted her from a childhood into adulthood and that sort of thing. So I'm just very excited. I will say I have actually started this book, so it technically needs to go on my books that I've started but not actually finished list, but this is a really interesting read that I want to get to. Another social commentary type book that I have started and have not finished is 1984 by George Orwell. I am trying to work on creating a library of books that are more political books that could potentially be banned in the climate that we're currently in. So I've got 1984 that I want to put on my actual physical TBR or in my physical library, but I also have already read Animal Farm. I've already read Animal Farm by George Orwell, so I wanted to get 1984. This is a surveillance state type of dystopian situation, but it seems to follow what we're going through currently here in America, so interested to read that. It might be too close to home, so who knows. Another kind of book that follows more political, social understandings is Kindred by Octavia Butler. I really want to read this. I have another book, I believe, yes, on my TBR by Octavia Butler, but I've heard really great things about this book. The other book that I have is Parable of the Sower. Again, another social commentary, dystopian society type of book that potentially also looks similar to the world we're living in. But I want to read both of these, so I went ahead and got those. And then I have two books that are, again, nonfiction that, again, I want to add to my library of books to keep for potential banning political reasons, but also for better understanding of the world that I live in. And one of those books is The Color of Law. This is a forgotten history of how our government segregated America. I've heard a lot of great things about this book, so I'm very excited to read that this year. And then the other book is actually A People's History of the United States. This is a book that is very, very highly regarded to understanding how America was created and the history of the United States, but from the perspective of the people living in it and not just the people in power, but all people. So I'm very excited to read this one as well, just to have a better understanding of the country that I'm a part of. I think that's all for my like non-fiction-y types of books. The next set is going to be more fantasy books. So currently I have Tower of Dawn and Empire of Storm. These are the two books in the Throne of Glass series that you read in tandem with each other because they're same storyline but from different perspectives. So these are the next two books that I need to read in that series. So I got the physical copies of these because, again, you have to people recommend tandem reading them because otherwise you're just reading the same book twice essentially, which, can we talk about how you're wasting everyone's time by doing something like this? That's really annoying. Don't do that. Don't be one of these people to just add another book for the sake of adding another thing. Just put them together. Why are we doing this? Why did we do this? Anyway, I'm gonna read these two books. These are the last two books before the final book in the series, so excited to get through these at some point this year. Another fantasy I have is Red Rising. This is a highly anticipated one for me because the girls were reading this last year. This is another FOMO book. The girls were reading this last year and they said, this is it. Everyone should read this. This is a good series. So I'm ready, okay? I'm ready for Red Rising. I don't know what is going to come. I honestly haven't even read the synopsis of this book because I don't want to know. I'm going in with the vibes, okay? Everybody's got a vibe and I want to be a part of it. Another fantasy that, again, is a FOMO fantasy that I want to read is Empire of the Vampire. I've been looking for this book everywhere. Also, look at how floppy. Oh, she's so cute. Anyway, excited to read this one. Vampires. I don't need to say anything else. Another fantasy that is the second book in a series is The Strength of the Few. You'll see I have a vlog coming out soon of me actually reading The Will of the Many. So I have the second book if I really enjoy the first one, and hopefully I do. I have the second one already on deck so I can get going and keep moving through it. Another fantasy we have is If We Were Villains. This is a book that I got strictly because Books and Lala said it was a favorite. That's it. I don't know what this is about. I haven't even read the synopsis on this. Kayla said this is a favorite and you should read it, and I said all right, so there's that. Another fantasy, I think this is like a fantasy slash horror, but someone you can build a nest in. This is a book that I saw Katie Coulson reading, but she seemed to really love it, and so I want to know if I agree with Katie Coulson. I don't think that I do. I'm gonna be honest because I read Bunny and she is obsessed with anything by Mona Awad and I did not like Bunny. So we'll see if I actually like this and enjoy this, but I believe this is like a slower paced cozy type of vibe almost, so very excited to read this. So the next fantasy, Wayward by Amelia Hart. This is more horror fantasy, I think, but I heard Wicked Reads actually read this recently, and she was talking about it, and she just gushed about it so intensely. This is a book that follows 3 different people on 3 different timelines, and I really like that kind of like jumping back and forth, future past type of thing. So I got this one, very excited to read that. And then I also have Bury Your Bones in the Midnight Soil. Again, I think this is more of a fantasy meets horror thing, but again, vampires. Okay, this was an anticipated read for 2025 that I never got to, so probably gonna be in a FOMO vlog at some point, but very excited to read this one. And then I think the rest of these are like more thriller horror type of books, except for these. I think this could have probably fit in my like non-fiction-y section, but non-fiction fiction. I don't know how you would phrase that, guys. Okay, but whatever. Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I've heard mixed reviews on this. A lot of people seem to like her other book, The Women or The Woman. I can't remember which one, but this is a Goodreads best historical novel of the year. This was like very anticipated for when it came out. Everybody seemed to really love this. This is a World War II historical fiction. So I'm very excited to read this at some point this year. Hopefully I get to it this year. It's not one that I'm like, ooh, I have to read that. It's one that I'm like, yeah, I'll read it, maybe. Maybe. We also have Sky Full of Elephants. This is a book that I want to read this year. This one I am actually very excited for, and I want to read. This is about a biracial girl whose half of her lineage, half of her racial demographic falls off the face of the earth, basically, and she's got to wrestle with some things. From what I've learned, this is what I've heard of it. I'm excited. As a biracial girly, I think this is the book for me. I'm thinking that this is the book for me. I think that this book might actually hit very closely to some of my own life realities, so I am a little bit nervous about that, not gonna lie, but I do want to read this. This was on Tales of Tales, has this on her 2025 best books of the year, and I'm very excited to read this also based on that, so we will definitely be reading this in 2026. And then finally, another book of the month book, Our Infinite Fates. I'm gonna be honest with you, I bought this book because it was a bestseller type of book. It was like one of the like, this was the best book of whatever year kind of thing. Either way, this is a 2025 release from Book of the Month. This was one of the last books I bought before I canceled my subscription. I don't know why I got this, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure I got this strictly because of the synopsis, like short blurb, which basically says this is the invisible life of Addie LaRue meets this is how you lose the time war in this fantastical and epic love story that defies death as 2 souls reincarnate through the centuries. I loved Addie LaRue, and I think that's why I picked this up. Will not say that this is something I might read this year. It's gonna be at the bottom of the list, gonna be honest with you. Next, we have a series set here that I need to read, which is the remainder of the Merciless books. I did buy these last year. However, these are very old books. Merciless came out in 2014, so these are old. I see you millennials, it's all right. But I do want to get to these at some point in the year. I might try and split them up to like read one each quarter. We did finish Merciless 1 this month, so I might try to read another one in Q2, Q3, Q4, that sort of thing, so we read the whole series by the end of the year. The next book that we have is What Kind of Mother? I got this because I read Dearest in 2025, might have been 2024, I don't really remember. I think it was 2024, but it was right after I had my baby, and I absolutely loved that book. It spoke to me as a mom to a newborn who was going through this for the first time and has never experienced this kind of wild life in my life. So I was really interested in getting other books that were horror related but also talked about motherhood in some way. So I got What Kind of Mother. This is not, I don't think, going to be a book that like is really about the motherhood that I experience, but this is after striking out on her own, Maddie is forced to return to her hometown with her 17-year-old daughter. They're gonna go be palm readers at a local farmer's market. She runs into someone, she reads someone's palm, someone else is dead, she knows who killed who, I don't know. This looks good, okay? I want to read it. Also, What Kind of Mother? Did a mom do something vicious? I think so. Next is the only Riley Sager book that I have on my TBR, and I only have it on my TBR because of Possessed by Horror, Sarah on YouTube, and that is Home Before Dark. She said this was the best book that she read by Riley Sager when she ranked all the Riley Sager she had read at one point. Okay, I'm gonna read it. That's it. That's the story. Next is another beautiful horror book that I can't wait to read, which is Slewfoot by Brom. I have wanted to read this for a very long time. Also, I love that this is like not a normal sized book. I don't know, I typically don't like things like that where like this book's gonna stick out beyond all the other books, but I don't know. There's something about it. Also, look at this cover, guys. That's beautiful. Oh, I'm just glad I have it in my thing. There's also pictures of, ooh, I'm so excited to read this. This is like written ye old time style. So think of like The Witch, the movie. I think that's kind of what I'm probably going to be getting into here, but I'm very excited for this. To finish off my thrillers, we have another book of the month, which is A Flicker in the Dark. This one I really do want to get to this year. This was a like best of for 2022. So this is a back list book as well, but I really want to get to this one. Heard amazing things about A Flicker in the Dark, so definitely want to get to that this year. Another one that I actually picked up this year is The Alienist. I picked this book up because I watched the TV show The Alienist. Watched that a long time ago. I think it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago at this point, if not more than that. But I really liked that show. I love the TV series. It was only 2 seasons. I wish they had kept going, but I'm very excited to read this because I think I'll like it since I really loved the TV show. Another thriller book that I got recently is The Soulmate. I got this last year at the end of the year. This was actually something I got from a pop-up shop that's in my neighborhood. She does resells used books and she recommended this one. She said it was really, really good and that I should read it and that it has some twists and turns that you wouldn't expect. It was just really good. So very excited for that. And then my final thriller book, if you will, is Murder by Cheesecake. This is a Golden Girls cozy mystery. I'm excited for this because I love the Golden Girls. You know anything about me, it is that I'm obsessed with the Golden Girls. Betty White is like my favorite. I love her, but I have all of the Golden Girls digitally and physically because it's a comfort movie or comfort series for me that I will watch anytime I'm feeling down. It's the first thing I'll put on. So very excited for that. Our little bit of our last stack, we have one more stack after this, but we have The Staircase in the Woods by Chunk Wendig. I have started this one, but never finished it. It wasn't really all that intriguing to me, to be honest, but I got this as a Evernight exclusive. I believe that I did cancel my Evernight subscription. Okay, no, I did not. I did not cancel it. So I have an Evernight subscription through OwlCrate. I will be keeping that. I do want to read this, so this is a recent horror release for 2025 that I want to get to. And we also have Dark Sisters. This is a subscription edition of a book from OwlCrate. I did cancel my OwlCrate. I'm going to be honest with you because I got a few of them here that I have not read, and I don't really feel that pulled to read them, if I'm being very honest. But I might do a dedicated reading my OwlCrate books from 2025 video just so I can get through these, but also to see was it actually worth the money that I spent for these editions of these books. So yeah, this was the last book for 2025 for OwlCrate's horror book box. I know nothing about it. I don't actually know anything about it. I'd never heard of it before it hit my doorstep. Everybody's ranting and raving about it online, but I don't know if it's because it's good or if it's just because like this is a cool edition. So we'll see. Another OwlCrate that I got is The Library at Hellborn. I am excited for this one, and also this is beautiful. This is another beautiful, beautiful edition and a beautiful cover. And like even the like plain cover is beautiful. Oh, you guys. I can't wait to put this on my bookshelf when I build my bookcase out there. But I have this one from OwlCrate. I am very excited to read this. This does sound really good. Again, it looks beautiful too, so this one will be one I try to get to in 2025. And then we have my only aardvark purchase that I've gotten, which is Weren't Meant to Be Human. I really want to read this one this year as well. I heard it was very graphic body horror, but it also follows a trans character, so I'm very excited to read this and see if it feels like it's doing justice for trans characters. I believe that it does because that's everything I've heard has been good about this book so far, but I've heard it is really disgusting. So very excited to read this. I also got this in, I believe, my OwlCrate subscription, and I actually sold that book because I didn't like the cover of that one. I didn't. I like this edition better. It's not cute and beautiful and all the things wonderful, but I do like this cover a lot better, so there's that. Another OwlCrate that I got is the Buffalo Hunter. I have started this, have not finished it, don't know if I will. I don't know if I'm a Stephen Graham Jones girl, guys. I don't know if I am. This is the book that everybody's been raving about recently. This is a newer release. I am not sure that I'm into it. All right, before we get to our final stack, the last 2 books I have here are by Thomas. So I've got Echo and Hex. These have actually been on my TBR for quite a while, but I am very excited to read them. I believe I got these at the end of 2024, so I don't know that I actually had hauled them or not, but I got one and then got the other, so I have both of these. Now for our final book stack of all the books that I got in 2025. Ooh. This is a full stack of horror books from Twisted Retreat that I have not read. So these first two books are going to be books that were from the 2024 November release, I believe. I did a full unboxing video for this and I never read them. I'm very upset about it. I have been getting a book every single month for the entire year of 2025, minus I think 1 month, and I have not read a single one of these books. So that being said, you can expect a vlog from me of me reading every single Twisted Retreat book throughout this year. I'm going to be finishing every single one of these books. I will have to read one of these books once a month, every month for the full entire year so I can get through all of the books that I bought from them. We have The Elric Undoing and we have Every House is Haunted. This was the plain, just the book and then the extra book. I did cancel that box, which is why I don't have the January book box, because I canceled getting both books to only get just the book without all the extra packaging and goodies that came with it. I felt like the box that I got from November, which I shared, I'll link it here if you want to see my first unboxing of my horror books subscription, but that box was really cool that I got 2 books, but all the extra stuff that was in the box I actually ended up not using at all last year, and I think I ended up tossing most of it. So it wasn't worth it to me. I didn't want to keep doing that. Canceled the subscription and then got just the book box. So next we have the book from February. So again, I missed January's, but we have the February book from Twisted Retreat, which is Hush My Darling. This is a beautiful cover. It's a beautiful edition. I do want to get to, again, all of these books this year. So we have Hush My Darling. Then we have March's book, which is The Bog Wife, which was a very big book. This is a very popular book. So very excited to read this. Beautiful edition. Yet again, like, look at that cover, so gorgeous. And the end papers and then the plain cover. Oh, and then those edges, look at them edges. This is beautiful. I love this version. Let me show you Hush My Darling. These are the edges for Hush My Darling, and then the end paper and the cover, and then there was an alternative cover as well for this one, like a reversible dust jacket. This is the reversible dust jacket, which I ended up liking this version best, so we just stuck with that. Okay. This is April's book box, which was for Sanctuary by Valentina Rapido. I'm actually really excited to read this one. The synopsis on this sounds wonderful, so very excited for that. But there's our end papers and the plain book cover, which looks beautiful also. I do really like the editions of these books. I think they're all very, very nice. And then we have our sprayed edges as well. The only thing I don't think I'm a super fan of on some of them are the end papers. They're more illustratory, and they also seem to a lot of them seem to have like people drawings, and I'm just not a fan of people drawings in any way, really. And then we have our May book box, which is an Eric LaRocca, At Dark I Become Loathsome. I have not read a full Eric LaRocca just yet, but I am excited for getting to this one eventually. And then we have Wrecked. I'm very excited about this one. I really, really want to read this, but I love, look at the sprayed edges on that one. That one's so beautiful. I really love the end papers on this one too. It's the mixed media vibes, y'all. And then that's the raw cover. Like, that's so pretty. This is one of those that I actually like the raw book over the actual cover that they put on it. But that was the book chosen for June of 2025. And then we have Blood Slaves, which again, also excited for this one. Very pretty. This one actually would have probably fit for Winterween this year, but we're not there yet. And then here's the end papers and the book cover. This did come with an alternative book sleeve where the red metallic that's on here was gold, but I definitely love the red a lot better. Next we have The Bone Drenched Woods. Beautiful book again. Not a super huge fan of the end papers because again we have people on it. And then the raw book cover. Just really beautiful work. They put a lot of effort and energy into these editions, and I will say I don't believe Twisted Retreat is all that expensive. If you're looking for more indie type of horror books, I think that is a good subscription box to go with, especially if you're just doing an individual book. Less waste, you do get a very nice edition of a book, and I've, again, not heard of most of these books, so I'm very excited to read them and want to do kind of like a case study, if you will, this year, reading all of these books to kind of determine what my rankings end up coming out for all of these books, and if I find that it was worth the buy to be a Twisted Retreat subscription. The next book is An Evil Premise. This was the September book box for 2025. Very, very cool. This one is probably my favorite book of all the books that I got from Twisted Retreat, just from looks alone. This is a vibes only book, by the way. But this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book, Trading Bullets with the Devil. I've never heard of it, but again, beautiful. I love the little metal corners. I love the sprayed edges, the spider webs. So beautiful. The end papers are nice. They did like some metallic signings for these books as well. And this was the book for October for the book only box. Just gorgeous book. Love this. In the back as well. Definitely a display book. And then we have the November book box, which is The Nightmare Man, which is terrifying. This is by J.H. Markert. Then we've got our end paper and the plain front cover. Very excited for this one as well. This is an author I've heard of before, but I've never read from before, so definitely excited to see what this book is all about and how terrifying it is. That's the other thing. I think I'm gonna kind of rate these on how horror are they, because I love horror. You know that about me. So I'm very excited to see what those are all about. And then the final book, this is the December book box, is The Entirely True Story of the Fantastical Mesmerist Nora Gray. This don't look like no kind of horror book to me, and that's just how I feel about it, but it's beautiful. It is very beautiful. It gives it, to me, it's reading more fantasy horror just based on cover and alone, but it is beautiful. Is the end papers again with the people. Why do we do that? I don't know. And then the plain cover, which is also very beautiful. So I'm very excited to read this one. Synopsis for this is a spiritualism reaches its fever pitch at the dawn of the 20th century. A Scottish girl crosses the veil to unlock a powerful connection within an infamous asylum in this thrilling, atmospheric, exquisitely evocative exploration of feminine rage and agency for readers of Sarah Piener, Alice Hoffman, and Hester Fox. So we'll see if this gives me feminine rage, because I have some to give away. So let's go. And that's it. Whew. Those are all the books that I bought in 2025 that I have yet to read. So now let's see, after all of that, how many books do I actually have on my TBR, in my cabinet, sitting out here around me, and in my TBR stacks that we need to read in 2026. So after counting all of the books, we have roughly 126 books on my physical TBR. That's a lot of books. For someone who usually reads about 50 books a year, 126 books is going to take me 2 years to get through, theoretically. I'm hoping that I stick to this booktube thing and my YouTube channel, because it is pushing me to read more, and thus I could potentially actually get through all of these books by the end of the year. Being realistic, I am gonna still have books coming in. I'm gonna say I honestly probably have 130 books actually, and not 126, because I believe that my sister has some of my books that I haven't read yet. But even if I don't, I have books coming in. I still am subscribed to Twisted Retreat. I will not be canceling my subscription. So we still have those subscriptions that I'm doing. Very excited for those. And then we also have the OwlCrate box that I'm still subscribed to. And if I continue the subscription, I have Aardvark as well that I'm subscribed to. So I do have all of those subscriptions that I am a part of that I'll still be getting books from, if not on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis. So we do have some books that are going to still be trickling in from those. I do want to try and restrict myself from just willy-nilly buying books because somebody said that it was good, and so now I feel like I have to read it. I want to actually read the books. I plan to cut back on how many books I end up buying in a year. This was the books that I bought just in 2025 alone came out to over 50 books. That's a lot of books to just be buying in 1 year. And I don't love that. That doesn't make me feel good inside that I'm spending that much money on books that I'm not even reading. And that's the part that upsets me. I'm spending money on books I'm not even reading. that I don't know. You heard me in a few of these books that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna actually read this. I'm not really that interested in it. Why do I own it then? Why did I spend my money on it? I want to get into a place where I'm buying books because I actually find it interesting and I want to read it, and not just because someone on the internet said that they liked it. I want to actually also think that, wow, that does sound interesting, and I have to have it. I can't not have my hands on that book because I do want to read it. Like, I have to have plans to read it. You know what I mean? This year's plan is to read as much of these 120 something books that we have, see if we can get through them all by the end of the year, try and tackle this shelf. This is something I know a lot of people are trying to do as well on YouTube right now. So it's nothing new. Everybody wants to cull down on how much consumerism they're doing this year, and I think that's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. So I want to cut back as much as I can so that I'm also not contributing to the problem. We got a healthy amount of books here to read, and I think I have a lot in different genres as well for me to read, which is also exciting. We went through my little romance stack there, and I love that I have so many romances that I want to read. That's really cool because I haven't always been a romance reader. I've mostly read fantasy or horror my whole life, more dystopian stuff when I was younger, but even still, like, I really wasn't a romance reader back then. So being a romance reader now in some way, I think is really cool. And I like that I have a bunch of different types of books to read that I want to read. Nonfiction, historical fiction, fantasy, horror, romance, all the things. So very excited to read these. I hope that you'll come with me on my journey through reading all of these books. Yeah, help me figure out, is there any, like, of the books that I showed you that you would love to see me read? Are there any specific ones that you're like, you need to read this now because it's such an impactful or good or just fun book? Let me know in the comments. If you have read any of these books and you're like, girl, it's not worth it, also let me know in the comments, because I don't want to waste my time either. I'll probably still read it though. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm not gonna listen to your opinion in that regard. If you tell me not to do something, I'm gonna just do it anyway. But, you know, still let me know. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you gathered any kind of information. Should I be doing specific vlogs based on like reading so many horror books, or again, would you be interested in me reading all of the subscription books that I bought throughout the year and like doing a kind of like subscription review box type of thing? Would you be interested in me doing a vlog that's specifically like me reading romance books or me reading thriller books? Or just let me know. I'd be interested to know what your opinions are and what you think. So thank you guys for being here. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day whenever you're watching this. If it's nighttime, I hope you have a great day tomorrow, okay? Get some sleep, drink your water, have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.